Laowa is an interesting lens maker. I had a chance to test their new 50mm f2.8 macro lens, and I will show you 5 things that you can shoot macro at home with this lens, and also I will compare it to the 60mm Olympus f2.8 lens. But let's start. Hi there, my name is Peter Forsgard. I am an Olympus visionary and a professional photographer from Helsinki, Finland. And before we start talking about the Laowa 50mm f2.8 macro lens, please consider subscribing to my channel and hit that bell so you get notified when there is a new video online. My channel is all about you getting to be a better photographer. And a disclaimer, Laowa contacted me and asked if I want to use or test this lens. And I agreed because it's an interesting lens. And I will send it back after I finish this video, and Laowa did not tell me what to say on this video, nor did they see this before, so everything I say is my own opinion. And before I start talking about the lens, let's see 2 things that I photographed with it here in my studio. And now let's talk about the lens a bit more. It is a manual focus lens that can focus, of course, from infinity all the way up to 2:1 macro. And this is the first 2:1 macro lens in micro four thirds. The Olympus 60mm is 1:1 macro, which is actually the definition of macro. You have to be, the size of your subject has to be as big as it is on the sensor. Olympus can do 1:1 and this can be 2:1. So this one has a better magnification. As I said, I will talk the differences between these 2 lenses a bit later. Even though it's a manual focus lens, the aperture is controlled from the body because the lens has electronic contact, so it can provide information to camera. And there are 2 advantages of this. The first one I already said, you can control the aperture from your body, which I in many cases prefer. And then the other one is that it will record also the metadata. So it will tell you which aperture was used, which camera was used, which lens was used. So that way it is a good thing that it has some electricity going from the lens to the body. And I think it's one of the first, or is it even the first Laowa lens that can do that. The other Laowa lenses are fully manual and do not provide any information to the metadata. Since it's a manual focus lens, what's really important is the focusing ring, and on this one it is really good. It's mechanical, so, and it doesn't, you know, turn around. It will stop on this, and there are very good markings on the lens, which is really good, and so it's really easy to use as a manual lens. And also about the contacts that I mentioned, that had 2 advantages. Actually, there's a third advantage, is that focus peaking and magnification, if you have them turned on your Olympus camera, they will work automatically when you start focusing. And that's really good thing because it makes the focusing a lot easier. The lens comes with a really nice box, a very nice looking box, really nice pictures on the box, and also it comes with the lens hood. But with the lens hood there's only a small problem, and that is if you put it on, it goes really easy and nice, like, whoops, yeah, not like that. It's quite long, which is a good thing because the purpose of a lens hood is to try to block some light or straight light to the lens, to the front element. But if you have this one focused to 2:1 macro, it will also block the light from the subject. So you can use it actually if you use it this 2:1 magnification. But of course, if the subject is a bit further away, then you should have it on. And of course, it has a lens cap too. The overall build quality is really nice, and it really feels really good, and it looks really beautiful. And the other specs of the lens are let's do some more photographing with it. And before the last macro idea, let's compare these two lenses. This one is the Olympus 60mm f2.8 and this is the Laowa lens that I've been talking about in this video. Okay, the first biggest difference is that the Olympus lens is autofocus and manual focus, and the Laowa was only manual focus. And on a macro lens, I don't think that's really a big deal to have autofocus, but of course there are a few things that might be the decisive thing that you want an autofocus macro lens. The first one is, of course, it's a lot easier in many cases. If the subject isn't really close, then autofocus might be a bit easier if you're not really experienced with macro and manual focus. But of course, when you're getting more used to manual focus, then manual focus macro is actually a lot better. Then the second thing, which might be even a bigger thing, is that when you have autofocus on the Olympus 60mm f2.8 macro lens, you can use focus bracketing and focus stacking automatically. The AF will take care of that. Of course you can do it manually, but it takes a lot of skill and practice to get it right so that you have a perfectly sharp image from the point that near point to the far point that you have decided where you want that to be in focus or totally sharp. I hope you understood what I meant. But anyways, focal length of this is 50 and a 60, it doesn't really make any difference, I think. And the aperture 2.8 is the same, so there is no big difference in that. But then there is the third thing that might be a big thing, is that this one I know is weather sealed, which could be a good thing because in bad weather you get great images and a small rain doesn't really do any harm to this lens. I could not find any information about the weather sealing on this lens, so I suppose that it's not, because it's not told in their website, the Venusoptics, who is the maker of Laowa website, that this is a weather sealed lens. So in that sense, that could be also a decisive thing. What comes to image quality, both can produce really great images if you know what you're doing. So in that sense, I don't see any big differences in that. So I would say that it's a matter of taste and of course a matter of a price. And now the time for one more idea what to shoot. As I said, I will send this lens back, which is a bit pity, but it's a nice lens, but I still have this one, so to be honest, I don't really need the Laowa lens, so in that sense it's not that bad of a thing. But if you're interested in the Olympus 60mm f2.8 macro lens, there is a video about it over there for you to watch. And there are also some other macro tips on my channel, videos about macro photography. But hey, thanks for watching and bye for now.